Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
Non-binary listeners, ladies and gentlemen, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookians, 9 days. The audio performance you're about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our hosts' past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events, unrelated outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. The contents of this episode are the property of Volcanic Dingo LLC. All rights are reserved. It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler, just trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
This is the story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole... No, it's not the story of a girl. It's not at all. Most episodes, just full disclosure, most episodes I take whatever song is stuck in my head at the moment, drop the singers and the lyrics into the beginning of the podcast, find a way to bend or distort it into something that somehow fits in with the podcast and the episode, and poof. Show intro done. No more songs stuck in my head. Everything is good and fine in the world. But I'm not finding a way to tie this in. Absolutely, I'm not finding a way to tie this song in to casino gambling. Crying a river, drowning the world, holes in the soles of my shoes. Nope, nothing. Not finding it. I may be stuck with this song. We may have to, no, wait, maybe I've got it. My clothes never wear as well the next day. My hair never falls in quite the same way. I never seem to run out of things to say. There we go. I found it. I never run out of things to say. Bye-bye earworm of the week. Welcome to episode 151 of our Casino Combat podcast. Let's do quickly what is going on in the Casino Combat galaxy really, really quick. We have a group event happening February 28th to March 2nd at Sunset Station Casino. We would love to have you join us. We are going on a cruise to Bermuda as a squad on August 2nd, leaving from Port Liberty near New York City. Qualified players only pay taxes and fees. You become a qualified player by emailing me, trg@casinocombat.com, and spelling combat with a K. Let me know what and how you play. We'll get you vetted with the casino on the cruise ship, and there you go. You're a qualified player. Just as simple as that. Let's get started with our episode. If this is your next time, thank you so very, very much. I do truly appreciate you. If this is your first time and you are wondering what is going on, each episode I put together something I call the battle plan. The things we're going to talk about during the episode. This episode, things are fairly simple, almost old school, almost traditional. This is an OG episode. We are going to start with the Core Koncepts segment so that I can share some interesting takes from some very smart people on how to interpret house advantage. Then we're going to share a moment of casino wisdom and discuss one of the most important of the casino wisdoms from a slightly different point of view. An interesting take on it. Then we will finish up in the virtual VIP lounge with some sips and a story about what might have been during our recent trip to Biloxi. This feels like a short and simple episode. Let's set the over-under at 40 minutes. And I expect anyone who has listened to an episode or two is probably taking the over on that one. We'll see. We'll pay attention to the clock. Hopefully I can remember to come back to the over-under as we wrap this thing up. Let's get started with a Core Koncepts segment. The core concepts spelled with a K, of course, of casino combat are the pillars on which I think good gambling is built. They are the fundamentals. They are the minimum things you need to start with to then build out your gambling skills, your gambling knowledge, make your choices. It's a template for decision making. It's a set of ideas, thoughts, and concepts that you really need to know if you're going to try to be good at this. So let's run them down real quick because we haven't done this for a minute. Core Concept 1, learn to play one of the 5 casino games with wagers where the house only has a small advantage over the players and a reasonable amount of tier credits are awarded for making those wagers. That would be blackjack, baccarat, craps, or roulette. Let's be honest, roulette barely makes the list, and an argument can be made that Let It Ride and or Ultimate Texas Hold'em belongs on that list as well. The key thought here is a small house advantage on the wager you are going to make. Item 2, learn a wagering process that includes both progressive and regressive attributes. Item 3, have a bankroll of money you can afford to lose that is larger than needed for the game, unit size, and wagering process you intend to use. Get and use a player's card from every casino you play in and look for ways to upgrade that card by way of tier matches with reward systems for other casinos, hotel chains, and cruise lines. Item number 5, have the discipline to win a small set amount of money and leave, or lose a small set amount and leave. And that could be leave the table or leave the building, depending on factors of time and distance. The next item, in the end, try to win over the long run, the month, the quarter, or the year, not the machine or the day. Finally, if you have losses in the long run, make up those losses with comps and gifts from the casino. I wanted to talk today about the first item on the list, making wagers with a small house advantage, or more specifically, or more precisely, how to think about house advantage. I personally have always looked at house advantage as if I make the same wager 100 times for $1 each time, how much money would I be expected to lose after those 100 wagers are resolved? So if the house advantage for a given set of blackjack rules is 0.50%, the house is expecting to win 50 cents on those 100 wagers. If the wagers are made on the don't pass line, the house is expecting to win $1.36. And this isn't a crazy way to look at house advantage. I mean, ask ChatGPT what the house advantage on a particular wager is, and it will use literally that exact phrasing to explain house advantage. It is almost as if OpenAI used my words and thoughts to train the AI. But recently I had a couple of conversations with really smart and really skilled players who had very different ways of expressing the meaning of house advantage. And since I found those to be so interesting, I thought all of you might as well. My first conversation was with Prometheus, a very wise, very, very experienced blackjack player. A blackjack player with some very interesting ideas on how to play the game of blackjack. A diabolical game, as he might say. As we were getting to know each other, he asked, what is house advantage? And I gave him my standard expected loss per 100 wagered response, and he said, no, it's the chance on this hand that the house will beat us. And that's a paraphrase from memory. That's not exactly the way he said it, I'm sure, but it really stuck with me. It's a very accurate way of looking at the blackjack wagers specifically and at small house advantage wagers in general. It's really smart. Blackjack, baccarat, pass or don't pass craps, those wagers are almost a coin toss. Seeing the house advantage as the chance that the house will win the wager in comparison to the chance that you, the player, will win the wager is a very valid way of seeing those wagers. A very unique, and I have found in my experiences since then, a useful way to perceive those wagers. The chance the house has to beat me compared to the chance I have to beat the house. Very clever. The other conversation was on the PCH dice cruise that I was just on. And I was talking with Carbon Fiber Sequoia, and we were discussing craps wagers. And I had just done a segment in an episode at the time talking about why I focus on the craps table on the 5, 6, 8, and 9 and avoid the 4 and the 10 most of the time because the house advantage. Carbon Fiber Sequoia is an excellent and knowledgeable craps player, and I've observed he often has money on the 4 or the 10. And as we discussed the episode, he said, what is the house advantage on the 4 and the 10? And I said, full confession, CFS, I don't recall, but it's way more than my threshold of 4%. He agreed, reminding me that it was a bit more than 9%. But his follow-up was what I found interesting, and it stuck with me. He said that the house advantage is the tax you pay to make the wager you want. And before I could explore that idea further with him, another player from our group joined us and wanted to unleash the Kraken, which in this case is a spiced rum that they serve on Royal Caribbean cruise ships. So we all got a pina colada with a Kraken floater and headed to the craps table, and I didn't get a chance to ask any follow-up questions or to explore that idea further, but the thought stuck with me. The house advantage is the tax you pay to make the wager you want. As we played craps, I watched Carbon Fiber Sequoia's wagers. And as I watched, I made some notes, and then I did some research. And as a result, learning occurred. I understood why CFS saw the house advantage on the 4 and the 10 that way. When I'm playing craps, if I'm not doing TRG4 on the don't pass line, I am usually placing bets on the 5, the 6, the 8, or the 9, or some combination thereof. The house advantage on those wagers is acceptably low to me, and I can use progressive, regressive, and retrogressive techniques to make those wagers in a way that I'm happy with. Placing the 4 and the 10 has a house advantage of over 9%, and I'm not interested. And seeing that 9% as a tax instead of the amount I should lose for every $100 wagered doesn't really change that thinking for me. But that's not what CFS was doing. Carbon Fiber Sequoia was buying the 10, which is to say if he bet $25, he added $1 as the VIG, paying part of the house advantage up front. In return for that VIG, when you buy the 4 and the 10, the house pays the wager 2-1 instead of 9-5, which reduces the house advantage on the wager to 4.75%, much closer to the house advantage that I usually look for, and it makes the point of view make so much more sense to me. It is such a smart point of view for that particular wager. You pay $1 per 25 tax up front to make the wager. That's a brilliant way to look at house advantage. I always say, I don't know everything about gambling, I just want to. CFS taught me something I didn't know about craps, and made betting the 4 and the 10 more interesting to me in the process. There is tremendous value in hanging out with smart gamblers who play games you don't play, or who play differently than you do. I am very fortunate to have both Prometheus and Carbon Fiber Sequoia as friends and mentors, and the opportunity to share their unique points of view with all of you. All right, let's go enjoy a moment of casino wisdom. Casino wisdoms combine knowledge or information about how casinos work or about how players behave in a casino with an action to be taken in specific situations. Intelligence is knowing something. Wisdom is acting on what you know. I want to talk today about casino wisdom number 99. Very, very simple, very, very important. Perhaps the most important of the casino wisdom. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your gambling. The knowledge here is that while gambling, it is easy to forget or minimize your losses and remember or exaggerate your wins. It is easy to lose track of both what you have spent while gambling and what you were given. We were hanging out in the Slack virtual VIP lounge just after the first of the year, and Same Bet was reviewing how he tracks his results and what results and information he wants to track for the new year. Very smart, very wise, an annual review of what he is doing and how he is doing it. A look at what should be changed. As everyone was chatting about that, Same Bet said he doesn't track the value of comped rooms for two reasons. One, they are usually his wife's comps, not his. And two, without the comps, they wouldn't go to the casino anyway. Or at least not to that casino. And I was more than a bit shook. I really was. I always track the value of the room comps and any other comp for that matter. It's fundamental to how I see the game of casino gambling. But Same Bet was 100% correct. In almost all cases, I wouldn't go to those places without those comps. It extends further than hotel rooms. I often only go to the horse track because they are giving me free play and a free lunch. And often only go to the casino on Sunday because they serve a wonderful free brunch. We certainly wouldn't drive down and pay full price for the brunch. We can get a similar brunch for similar money much closer to home. And I started to think I was looking at all these things all wrong. That I had been wrong to track that value into my life as income. That the comped room that got me there was different than, say, a free bet or free slot play or a frying pan. I was really bothered. I really spent some time on it. I did. I spent a good bit of time thinking about the whole thing. And I arrived at a mental model that I'm comfortable with. One that I think makes sense. Certainly one that makes sense for me. Perhaps it makes sense for some of you. And perhaps it's informative as you consider what things to track and what things not to track as it relates to your own play. Comps are an appearance fee that the casino pays me to be in their building. A room comp is the casino paying me a few $100s for the privilege of having me in their casino. Yes, I wouldn't be there without them paying, but that's the point. I'm valuable enough that you're gonna have to pay me a fee to get me in the door. The same goes for a cruise, sure. I wouldn't go on the cruise unless it was comped, but that's the point. I wouldn't go on the cruise unless it was comped. The cruise line is very literally paying me an appearance fee to get me into the casino. Likewise, at the horse track, lunch and free play is the cost of even getting me off the highway and north 2 stoplights and into the building. Without that fee, I wouldn't be there. So it is true, without the comps, I wouldn't be in those places, but that's how an appearance fee works. People who are celebrities, people who are significant or important, get paid to show up. For me, regardless of how the fee is paid, it still has value. A fun story about our recent Biloxi trip. We were informed our departing flight was delayed well before the actual blizzard hit. We'd already visited Harrah's and received over 1/3 of a day's pay in free bets early in the trip. But our flight was delayed, and the realization that we would be stuck inside the Beau Rivage for at least a day hit us. Mrs. TRG asked if I wanted to go back to Harrah's one much more time before the snow started, since we were going to have extra time in town. And my response was no, there's nothing special about Harrah's. Sure, the Uber's only $4 to get there, but why? I don't see a reason to bother. I don't care that much about the craps repeater bet that they have over the Beau Rivage. I just don't think there's any reason to go. And being the wise woman that she is, Mrs. TRG suggested that we just check the app to be sure. We did, and discovered that our offers had been renewed for a new casino week. We had the same over 1/3 of a day's pay in free bets waiting for us once again. And that was just for walking in the door. Very literally, they were willing to pay us what is to most people a significant sum of money for taking a $4 Uber and making an appearance in their building. We accepted their appearance fee and left their building a short time later with some of their money. If you don't know your money, you don't know your gambling. Maybe the appearance fee logic works for me and doesn't work for you. Maybe it's not a comp you want to track, but we are all blessed to have people like SameBet in our community to ask those tough questions and make us think about what numbers matter to us. Everyone's answer doesn't have to be the same. For me, in 2025, I'm going to continue to feel like a celebrity and treat appearance fees as income. All right, let's hit the lounge for some sips and a story about what might have been.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual food and drink served in any virtual VIP lounge anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed, or your money back. As always, if you can, press pause, pour yourself something, fix a virtual plate, fix a real plate, hang out, have a drink. It's late. Mrs. TRG is volunteering at the church this evening. I'm enjoying the last of the Indian Scotch Dr. ECE gave me. I have two stories for you today. One that did happen to get to the one that almost happened but did not. We need that first story that did happen to get to the more interesting story, I think, the one that did not happen. Well, in Biloxi, we were playing some craps one evening, and a very tall, broad, older man was hovering around the table right behind the shooter. A woman with him asked if he was going to play, and he loudly explained that yes, but he knew how to play craps, and it would be rude to buy in while someone was shooting. And the point was made, and the dealers tried to get him into the game, and he said no, he knew craps, he knew the etiquette, he would wait. The next row was a 7. He still didn't want in. The next was a 2. He still didn't want in, and the shooter said, I'd really prefer you get in the game instead of standing behind me explaining why you're not in the game. So the gentleman enters the game for $1,500, and it's a $10 table. And he proceeded to go $100 on the 4, 5, 9, and 10, and $120 on the 6 and the 8. And he chatted with the dealers, explaining in a deep voice that he'd been a judge for 25 years and he wanted to win some money before heading home ahead of the storm. He collected on a couple of the numbers before Big Red showed up, which means he lost money. On the next shooter, he continued to talk and again collected on a number or two before Big Red showed up. He was losing money on each shooter. He put some additional cash on the table, and the dice continued to move. And as a couple, Mrs. TRG and I made some money on my hand, while he once again lost, and the dice passed to Mrs. TRG, the radiant goddess of casino combat. Now, my wife learned to throw dice from Howard Rock and Roller before he passed away. And one thing that impressed us about Howard was that in the class, he didn't treat the women as second-class citizens, as second-tier citizens. They got the same attention and level of instruction that every man got. It really stuck with us. It really made Howard stand out as a real stand-up human being. Now, Mrs. TRG likes to set her dice with 3s on the top and the pips slanting down to the right on both dice. Not exactly conventional, but she has experimented with other sets and feels she gets the best results with the dice set that way. And she tends to get longer hands, which is to say more throws than I do, so who am I to tell her what to do? And so when the dice came to her, the judge is down to his last $200, with bets of $100 on just the 4 and the 10. And after her second throw, the judge told her she was setting the dice wrong. She should turn the 1 dice and make a V. She ignored him. A couple of throws later, he again said she was doing things wrong and tried to correct her, and of course threw in a honey and a sweetie along the way. And I took note, and she threw several more times, and Big Red came out. I counted 10 throws total, so not great, but more than average. More than either myself or anyone at the table had managed to do to that point in the game. And she did not throw a 4 or a 10, and the judge left the table with no money left in his rack. We played another hand or two and left the table with a small profit as the other players at the table ran out of money and thinned out and left. And we went to the bar and had a nightcap and headed up to the room. And as we talked through the evening, she said, "Can you believe that guy? He wouldn't have dared tell me how to set the dice if I was a man. What a jerk. What a way to treat people." And I agreed with her and told her that I had noticed the same thing, and that if he had said just anything else, I had a speech prepared to shut him up. Which ends the story about what was. It does. That's what happened. Not particularly interesting. Informative, we continue to note how my wife gets treated differently than I do, and we can only conclude that in some cases it has to be because she's a woman. But she asked what I was preparing, so let me share the story of what might have been. Although it didn't happen, this could have happened. And before I do, please know that at least in my head, this is the voice that I would have been using when I made the speech I'm about to share.
When you come into my court looking like you do, you not only insult me, but you insult the integrity of this court.
So let me give it a try. Let me try to find that. I'd have said, "Your Honor, I'm a northerner. I wouldn't presume to tell a southern gentleman such as yourself how you should treat a lady. But up north, a gentleman would not have the sheer unmitigated gall to tell another man's wife how to set the dice in his presence. I'm surprised that I'm required to teach that lesson in proper manners to a man of your age and accomplishment. I must demand that you treat my wife with the respect she is entitled to." I don't know how I did. You'll have to tell me. Tell me what you think, folks. Those of you that know me, shoot me a text message. Throw something in Slack, guys. I did my best on that one. Please tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host. Don't tip away your wins. I have spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out I was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand I was born a rambling man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. The best part of the podcast is next, the Casino Combat Blues. Wait. Hold up. Before we put that in, let's check. Let me look. I said the over and under was 40 minutes. We are at 26 minutes and 17 seconds. The under would have won.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight. I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition. You should probably play alone. I know the house has an advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card. Put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now. Do it just the way we planned. Just follow the core concepts, and you could win several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that. Don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business. The Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette or craps, you gotta carry defense, cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty deals. Everybody has an alias, cause that's more fun we feel. It's the lure of winning money, it's got a very strong appeal. Perhaps you'd understand it better standing in my shoes. It's the ultimate enticement. It's the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes, now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox, clean feels good.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, It's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Say there's nothing he can do, from the pockets of the casino right down to me.